Alright, sweet. Round 2, and gonna snap off this one and hope my opponent is playing creatures with which they are trying to deal damage to my life total. And not in like a fancy reanimation sort of way. Island Brainstorm. Well, that's something my last opponent had too. Hope this isn't just another reanimation deck, because last time went okay, but I don't think it will continue to do so. And yeah, I guess I should have maybe led with this again, but I don't think the two damage normally matters a whole lot, and also I like to be able to cast Empty Turak. But it looks like this is a Reanimator deck again. And now I don't think I can attack, and my hand is too mana hungry. There's the punishment. Got the colorless source in my quadruple black converted mana cost card. Don't cast Buried Alive, please. Cast a creature. Just Shadowmage Infiltrator. I'm on board with that. Oh, they're hemming me. No, my 5-drops. They left me with this uncastable. What a rude opponent. Okay. I think I'm safe to attack in here. I mean, they could have Dismember. I mean, I know Dismember is a card in the cube. I'm pretty sure I saw it. If they dismember me, then they got me. They are pausing a lot. Makes me think they might have it. Maybe there's like a Vapor Snag or something I didn't remember seeing. Well, at least I got the Stronghold. I can put Grey Merchant on top of my deck again at some point in the future. I also could like Makeshift Mannequin one of these into play. Oh, maybe my opponent's just a control deck? That's fine, I'm on board with that. Kind of wish I had, Phyrexian Arena or Underworld Connections or some sort of effect like that. That's normally key for the mono black deck to overpower the control decks over a long game, but hey ho. So I think this time I'm going to, like, am I going to end step and Makeshift Mannequin? Or am I going to attack? I think I'm going to probably Mannequin. But it's also possible that I just want to start Full Wrath Strongholding. Depends if they play a threat or not, basically. Oh, Grixis deck. Am I going to get like Cruel Ultimatum or Nickel Blast? Tassiger. So I can obviously like Makeshift Mannequin CDC to search my deck for something. Or I can just Makeshift Mannequin CDC and start getting in. Kinda just wanting to start getting in. The lower my opponent's life total, the easier it is for me to just start recurring Grey Merchants. That also makes my play for this turn pretty easy. So this is Death Touch, so I didn't need to remove Tasksucker out of the way before attacking. because if they want to block, that's a-okay with me, but I'm still going to edict it even though it can't block, because I don't want them to get value out of the card draw effect. And then I'll play Nighthawk. Is there a force? I saw them starting to pay costs there. What does that mean? Oh, I see. It meant that they clicked on Tasigur to sacrifice it, which asked them to start paying costs for it, Tasigur's ability. So they're on a 2-turn clock, which is nice. They are 1 black away from Cruel Ultimatum mana, if that's in the format. I don't know if it is. Ah, destroying all my non-dragons. What a beating. So I can get stuck in with Factory. Sacrifice it to bring back... Should I bring back Grey Merchant? Should I bring back anything? Like, I think I should probably just bring back Sidisi, actually. Like, it's bigger. And it's actually, since it's not mannequined, it's a lot harder to kill this time. And the colorless source doesn't help me cast Obliterator anyway. Because if I just bring back Grey Merchant, they get put to 8, but then they can just block it with this manland or creature land, whatever is going on with this. Can't quite tell. Well, they didn't slam Cruel Ultimatum into my face, so that's a good start, I suppose. Is just like a Terminate or something? Something much more brutal? A Repeal? Alright. I'm gonna lay out this Obliterator here. It seems like they're having trouble removing my creatures, and if they have blocking on their mind, then this poses a different type of threat. No! My devotion. They have Pack Rat? Okay, I hope that they're going to discard some cards to Pack Rat, so then I can Damnation them. So I think what I'll just do here is so I can like place a DC as a Diabolic Tutor, but I think I want to cast it in just as a creature again. Force them to start discarding cards to Pack Rat. If they want to, stay alive from being attacked by Sidisi. I could have maybe searched for like Shieldred or something, but I don't have enough mana for Shieldred at the moment. I could have also went to search for Massacre Worm, which would definitely force my opponent to discard some cards to make all the Pack Rats big enough to survive Massacre Worm, and then get hit by Damnation. The problem with that plan is obviously they don't actually see what I search for. Alright, Jace is Deece. Let's see, so I can't give them Obnixilis and land, because otherwise they'll just kill my Sidisi. So I need to give them Forbid and the card, which isn't ideal, I have to say. So they took the Obnixilis and they had a land. So it meant that they only got one card off Jace, but it was a pretty good one, obviously. So that's a mild beating. So ideally I draw like a cheap card maybe to Recurring Nightmare from. Or Massacre Worm. Massacre Worm would be great. Ophiumancer, well that's... See, that's almost so good because I can't use Recurring Nightmare with it right away. I mean I can just sacrifice it. But then I don't get the snake. And the things I get this turn aren't that brutal. So I think I'm going to get a little bit greedy and I'm going to wait for the snake to arrive before using Recurring Nightmare with Sidisi next turn to get Massacre Worm. Or possibly Shieldred, so depending on what I draw. Or if they accidentally take a bunch of damage, then I can obviously get Grey Merchant. I can get it multiple times even over the coming turns. Well, that one's a fairly easy one, I think, since they don't have anything at the moment. They just took the 2 lands rather than the scry, which obviously makes sense because they have a pack rat. So they now have multiple cards to discard to pack rat. But now I get to like attack their planeswalker with like a death touch creature if I feel like doing that. What I feel like might be the case here is I might have to like Recurring Nightmares to get Sidisi, then cast Damnation to handle the rats, because I don't want to die in like one giant swing. You know, like this is nice and all, but these are actually more pressing at the moment. Ah, they're attacking. I'll definitely block one of them. I guess I'd rather them not have that real pack rat in the graveyard. Because it does give me another snake in my upkeep. So they would have needed to draw in another removal spell to kill this in order to leave me with no creatures. And if they're just moving all in with these rats, I'm on board. I do also need to be careful not to die to this. What is this? Jace the Mind Sculptor. That card's not reasonable. Yeah. I mean, they certainly didn't have that before, but they do now, and now I'm in a bit of trouble, since even like Damnationing might not be close to good enough. So I need the Damnation, otherwise I'm going to get wrecked by pack rats. And I think I don't think getting any of my creatures into play this turn does too much. I mean I obviously get to tutor with Sidisi, but if let's say they kill Ophiumancer, next turn I have enough mana to Volrash Stronghold it on top of my deck to sacrifice it anyway. And this forces them to deal with the snakes somehow. I mean they can minus Jace, but then they're not brainstorming. They can minus Obnixilis to kill this, but then they're not drawing cards. So it's weird to have this Recurring Nightmare, some reasonable creatures in my graveyard, and not use it. But I think it's right in this unusual scenario. But it's not like I've been in this particular scenario before, so I might be completely wildly wrong. Also, if this is like a Terminate or something, I don't think it matters either way. Since if I was to... Yeah, so even if I like get Sidisi, then they can just, with the effect on the stack, the exploit on the stack, they can destroy my creature, and since like I didn't actually exploit anything, then I don't get anything. A Delver. So it's probably gonna flip next turn, but they assume they have some lands hanging around over there. They are down to 6, which isn't the highest life total in the world. A thing in the ice. Unfortunately, like getting a Grey Merchant only puts them to 4. Since like if I put a Geomancer on top of my deck and then return this to my hand, this means that, well, this is now in my hand. It doesn't count towards devotion. So what shall I do? That's the question. Like, it's possible that the answer is hope to top deck something. Like, if I draw a Bone Shredder, I think I'm in good shape. Because then I would like get to kill Delver, bring back something. I think that would be great. And I'm not sure if just like get a Geomancer, recycle it to get Grey Merchant is good enough. Since they're like drawing so many cards. I think I'm gonna have to draw a card. If it's a land, then I'm dead. But I think in order to actually win the game, I think I need something better than this scenario. Okay. I had the option, but I'm just gonna not be able to win this game. Wow, okay, I just had a bunch of a bunch of swamps on top. They have a million planeswalkers, so that's nice. I can try and board in my Vraska. I mean, that seems kind of sweet. I would need to... I think I probably want to board out Phyrexian Obliterator, since that's a bit on the expensive side. I think I'm going to put in Hissing Quagmire and Forest in order to cast Vraska. I think I'm going to put in Bob, even though it's risky. I would have been kind of inclined to take out like some of my Necrotel stuff, but then they showed me like Delver and Thing in the Ice. Maybe I'll take out Malicious Affliction. And don't really want to take out that much else. Like Desecration Demons maybe a bit on the weak side against their like big planeswalkers. It's also not bad at attacking planeswalkers. Maybe Mannequins is too bad against all their like effects that can target my creatures for more or less for free. I had to tank quite a lot in that game, so I'll try and be a bit more fast and loose this next game. Alright, snap keep. So, like, I think this is a pretty good card against them. I'm gonna wait to see if they play like a Delver or something though before deciding if I'm gonna cast this or not. I don't have anything good to discard right at the moment. I don't think. I think like I think I'm gonna hit something Wow, Rakdos return. That card's unbeatable. So I'm going to leave them with the Cut and the Jace and the Bolas, obviously, because I can't take the Planeswalkers. And yeah. So yeah, it seems like Nicol Bolas is super sweet. I would totally have abandoned my plan of forcing mono black control if I had seen, a Nicol Bolas. Would have went all in. I've got to play with Feomancer and get some pressure on the board rather than him two-arcing them immediately. So I think I have time. And our hand's all good cards now. Well, I mean, that'll be good to get at some point. Bam. Oh, we took a Jace and a Swamp. So they have, Jace, Murderous Cut, Nicol Bolas. I mean, Cut and Bolas, not Jace, because Jace is right there. I guess it's possible that I should have tried to him to Turak in order to eat the world connections, so that card's kind of a nightmare for me. I also maybe could have taken out the Chain of Edict, but I didn't want to be too soft to turn to Pack Rat, for example. Well, I'm not too far away from casting Sorin Markov, which I imagine is a fairly difficult card for them to beat. I mean, obviously they have Nicol Bolas, but that comes down a little bit behind it, hopefully. I've made them discard a land and stuff. Maybe they'll play Nicol Bolas minus it, then I can start punching Bolas in the face. So I basically want to draw Grey Merchant here, or basic or land. Anything but hissing my Miasma, because that would be embarrassing. I guess Frasca would be bad too. So I guess quite a lot of my deck is quite bad in this scenario. Yeah, there's Big Nyx. That's gonna disrupt the beatdowns quite a lot. Well, I get to do this then. That's certainly not the worst thing I've ever seen. Do damage to my opponent, redirect to Obnixilis. Then I get to attack with the snake. And recurring nightmare of Feomancer. You sacrificing the snake, then rebuying a new snake on their turn. Obviously, that opens me up to their him to Turak type effect. But I think putting 3 power into play is just so much better in this scenario where we know they have Nicol Bolas. Maybe I'll get to ultimate Sorin Markov. I would love to control my opponent's turn. Didn't even need to take that Mindslaver from the draft. Damnation's about definitely in the low tier of cards that I could draw. This, I think it's okay if they trying to trade with a snake or something, if they really feel like it. But I'm not plussing this because if I guess, never mind, they don't have enough mana. But I definitely wanted to attack first, because if they did have red, they could just block as a 1/4, then I could finish it off. But obviously that's not happening in this particular scenario, since they don't have red. Well, they also aren't even able to attack Soren Markov next turn. They have an Obliterator too. Man, that's why I like take all these sweet cards. Although playing it in the 3-color deck is admirable, I would say. I'm gonna ultimate my Soren Markov. Cast Chainer's Edict. Get stuck in. I guess maybe they were hoping I was going to plus Soren Markov on the Obliterator, which would have been quite embarrassing. Let's see, I mean, maybe I should put Curse Scroll in my deck. Yeah, it's certainly possible. Like, it's quite good against Planeswalkers, and like gives me outs where I might not have some otherwise. Like, I could take out this Damnation, because it's mostly good against Pack Rat, and like maybe I could deal with Pack Rat otherwise. I still don't really want to be completely dead to like this turn 2 Pack Rat. I mean, I have like 2 answers to it. Maybe that's enough. But I'm not so sure. I think I'll take out Bone Shredder. It seems like a card I don't really want to play very often. I could also put in like Puppeteer Clique. They don't seem to have too much of value to do that with. I could put in like Ever After. Seems kind of grindy. I don't think I have quite enough creatures though, so I'll put Curse Scroll on my deck. It's possibly a bit on the weak side, but I'm sure we might be able to get away with it. Well, this hand's very aggro. Kind of, if I get to look at my opponent's hand, or I get to discover that there's a particular Planeswalker in their hand, then I can like preemptively play this. But I'm just gonna wait because they have a lot of different Planeswalkers, and I want to actually definitely hit one that they have in their hand. So the next question is like, am I playing Dark Confidant first? I think so. I mean, Collective Brutality seems alright, but like it might miss, and like if Bob starts working early, I'll be pretty happy. They actually don't have too many ways to kill it, I think. Is this the way to kill it? No, it's just a repeal. I think that's okay. I mean, they might just play like Jace the Mind Sculptor next turn, but then I'll bounce Dark Confidant, but then I'll replay it plus Phyrexian Revoker. Ideally, I would just never draw this right up until the part where I'm about to lose to Pack Rat, or like Thing in the Ice or something like this. So if it's Jace, Architect of Thought, I think I'll be relatively happy. I mean, they obviously have a lot of Planeswalkers, so I expect one to be appearing in the near future. Alright. Curse Scroll. Nice. 1 damage. So I think should I escalate this to like just drain them for 2? I think so. Like I have a bunch of cards in my hand. I don't know if that I need to actively use this. Use Damnation anytime soon. I guess I can just discard Necrotal too. And I think the 2 life might well matter considering how expensive my deck is. But on the other hand, if they just have a counterspell, then that'd be a disaster. So I'm just gonna look at their hand before I attack. Hopefully I'll hit like Rakdos Return and see an Ob Nixilis that I can revoke. That would be the ideal scenario. Forbid with buyback. They discard a Cryptic Command and a Mountain. Alright, so I have a feeling that they have Ob Nixilis. So I'm gonna go ahead and name that. Okay, I have named Ob Nixilis Reignited. And I will attack. Because I don't really, like, I haven't actually played any with the other commander, so I just always see Ob Nixilis as Ob Nixilis. And like I know he's a creature at some point in the past as well, so just thought I would just double check before the comedy Phyrexian Revoker maybe would have chosen something else. So they're sort of under the cosh here. I have a pretty good clock. I'm drawing cards. I took 7. Nice. Alright, time to get my damage in. Well, I mean, I didn't put him in there not to flip my 7-drop. So I can definitely lose the game if I like flip Massacre Worm, flip Wretched Confluence. Gotta add my threats to the board though. Some anti-synergy with Bob and Curse Scroll though. But, I mean, Curse Scroll was intended for the games where, you know, like the other ones where I was sort of on like 1 or 2 cards in my hand the whole time. So, oh well, you know, I can just like, you know, spew off some random hits, like 1 in 3 shots now and again. So is this plussing to slow the beat down? It seems like a sensible option. Yeah. Alright. What are you hitting, Bob? Oh, I hit another 6? Oh no. Whoa, look at this. Look at this outrageous deck construction. At least I don't think I can die next turn. I think I'm attacking Jace. Like, they're not close to death enough that I can get away with just letting this ultimate. I think if this Massacre Worm had been a swamp, I'd actually be in fairly good shape since I can start gaining life to offset this. In fact, I would definitely consider if I draw land next turn and cast Sorin Markov to plus it to kill Dark Confidant. Oh, my life gain. They've identified their route to victory. Well, I say, I mean, my deck is fairly expensive, but these are obviously the most I can possibly take over the course of a couple of flips. Careful consideration. That probably means that Ob Nixilis is about to leave my opponent's hand. He'll probably just like bolt me and then I'll die in my upkeep. Come on, top deck. Come on, give me some swamps. A kingdom for a swamp. Oh, they didn't have it? They discarded Tasigur? That's kind of interesting. Alright, I'm gonna turn off auto yields just so I can... Okay, so I have Volrath Stronghold. As much as I want to play Massacre Worm, I think I have to play Soren Markov. I get crushed by a Daze there. I have to kill this Delver, because it might flip and just punch me in the face. So, I mean, they may well be aiming for Nicol Bolas in the near future. So yeah, so because let's say I used Soren to kill off Jace here, assuming they didn't block with their Delver of Secrets, they could flip it, deal me 5, and then deal me 3 with the Delver, and I could flip like Wretched Confluence or something. Dreadbore is a sad time for me. Actually, I don't want them to have this more than anything else. I think they're actually fine to him me. So, like, this is the most dangerous card by far, since my life total is definitely in peril. So the next big question is, like, if I flip an expensive card, am I just gonna have to cast Damnation to kill Bob? I mean, I won't like that. I won't like to have to do that. I guess if I get to a situation where I'm on like 4, I can like upkeep, put Vampire and Nighthawk on top of my deck. I actually might put Nighthawk on top of my deck. I think it depends on, like, I want Bob to not to flip a land. I don't want to take guaranteed 3. Ooh, land. Oh, I didn't have a stop actually set in my upkeep. That was loose. Very loosey goosey there. Gonna go ahead and attack. Should I attack with both? Is that too dangerous against this? No, I think it's okay. I really need to get them dead. The Bob is very dangerous. I'll play at this forest even though it might get like destroyed or something. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if their last cards are like Nicol Bolas land, then I'm in a world of hurt because then you can like play Nicol Bolas Steel Shouldered. But at least then I get to cast Damnation, so it's not the worst. And if I play Forest, it means I have the most outs to, like, if I'm gonna Curse Scroll someone, then there's like multiple swamps in my hand that I can use. This is stopping my opponent from losing the game. As in, it's stopping me from losing the game. Alright. So I think I'll return Nighthawk and press OK on Bob here. Took Liliana. Okay, it seems acceptable. I think I'll go ahead and attack with Bob because I don't want it around anymore. So if they want to block it, I am definitely on board. This has Swamp Walk, which is a nice little ability. in this scenario. And I don't think there's a way for me to play Massacre Worm and kill my opponent's creature. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play Liliana. I'm going to kill my Bob to reduce the amount of things that can go wrong. And if something I don't like happens, well, I mean, I'm going to fire off this Curse Scroll anyway, but I'm going to see if I need to fire off Curse Scroll, because then it'll be much more exciting. You know, if they have like a Lava Axe and I need to respond. But no, we managed to defeat this opponent also.